What's up? It's another one of them ones where I need your help because maybe doing all this content over these few years has left me a little bit jaded. And when I look at something, in my mind, I'm supposed to feel bad, but also in my mind, it's like, should I really feel bad? So I bring it all to you so that you can help me decide if I'm senile or if I have a little bit of common sense left in me. 4 teenagers are dead, and hearing that will make you say, oh my God, you should feel bad. 4 teenagers, young, soon-to-be adults who now are no longer a part of life. Their families will miss them. Ultimate tragedy. Part of the reason why I feel bad is because they're teenagers, because they're young. They haven't really experienced the world yet. They will miss out on so many opportunities in life. And of course, the family members will now grieve their missing family member. But where I lose it just a little bit is because of why they're dead, and the reason why makes me say, well, it's kind of your own fault.
All 4 teens are now dead after a crash during a high-speed chase this weekend. Bradford County Sheriff's deputies say someone reported a car stolen in Gainesville last week. The stolen car was later involved in a high-speed chase that started in Bradford County and ended in Alachua. A state trooper rammed the car, causing it to roll over and hit a pole. There were 4 teens in the car between the ages of 14 to 16. 2 of the teens died at the scene. The other 2 were taken to the hospital. Newberry Mayor Jordan Marlowe confirms the 2 in the hospital have died.
I know there's a lot of stink towards police officers. I am an individual who's looked at certain situations and said, at what point does the word excessive play a factor in this equation? And you got all these weirdos over here who seemingly believe that once they walk outside, the cops got snipers pointed at their heads. And I'm looking at this and I'm just thinking, you 4 wouldn't be dead if you all didn't participate or at least join in on, because one individual could have carjacked this one person and the rest of them just got in the car. You wouldn't be dead if you didn't participate in this thing. Also wouldn't be dead if after you participated in said thing, the cops told you slow down. You did kind of slow down, but you peered off and somehow thought this was Grand Theft Auto. So it's like, in a vacuum, I could feel bad, but outside the vacuum, I know damn well this wouldn't have happened if you motherfuckers didn't carjack somebody. And then you have all the other examples of carjackings going wrong to where somebody, the victim of the carjacking, ends up dead or in the hospital.
Us learning the identity of the 4 arrested for yesterday's fatal carjacking.
A law enforcement source says police arrested 17-year-old John Honore and 3 15-year-old females, Renaya Baker, Markel Curtis, and Lanira Theophile. Fox 8 also just obtained the video of the horrific death that has shocked the metro area. Natasha Robin has more.
To me, it was meditated. I mean, they knew what they were doing, and then it was done. It was a choice that we're going to do this.
4 juveniles now in custody for the horrific murder of 73-year-old Linda Fricky.
It looked like a crime of opportunity.
Fricky worked for Rick Hodges as a life insurance agent for 30 years.
She was a great employee. You know, it was hard to go back and think about it, how this would happen to somebody like her.
A law enforcement source says police arrested 17-year-old John Honore and 3 15-year-old females, Bernia Baker, Marquel Curtis, and Lanira Theophile. Chief Sean Ferguson says they're charged with second-degree murder after carjacking and dragging Fricky to her death. Hodges and other witnesses told Fox 8 it was the male suspect who first attacked Fricky, possibly with mace.
And that's when he rushed her. He tried to pull her out of the car, seemed to be struggling with that, and as he was pulling her out, you could see where he started to physically assault her, basically.
He says during the attack, Fricky became stuck in the seatbelt as the teens drove away, dragging her from North Scott to Bienville and onto North Pierce.
You could hear her screaming.
Fricky's arm was eventually severed and her body laid in the middle of the street.
It's disgusting. I'm going to keep reliving that, God knows how long.
Many now hope the teens will be charged as adults, including Chief Sean Ferguson.
I would say absolutely. I mean, look at the nature of the crime. Look at what we're facing. I mean, brazenness, broad daylight, with no regards to this woman hanging from the vehicle.
DA Jason Williams released a statement calling the crime unthinkable and said any and all persons that the evidence shows participated in the murder of this elder will be prosecuted to the absolute fullest extent of the law.
They're preying on older women and older people and people that can't defend themselves. It's just like, it's cowardly.
In a statement this afternoon about the carjacking, New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell condemned what she called a shocking and horrific act of violence. She called it startling beyond belief and said, "I absolutely condemn this senseless and unimaginable tragedy in the strongest possible way." Cantrell went on to offer up her heartfelt condolences to the family of the victim and her gratitude for the NOPD's work catching the suspects in less than 24 hours.
And then all of a sudden I'm supposed to care about the intricacies of the black youth and how this is troubling for them and actions have consequences, but we should operate based on the justice system and how unfair it is when white people do the same thing and all that bullshit. But I'm wondering to myself, should I just callously say fuck them, or should I hold a little bit of decency because they're teenagers? I would argue it should be the second option, but the one thing picking at me in my head is, why did I believe 2 of them have ankle monitors?
There were 4 young teens in the car between the ages of 14 and 16. 2 of the teens died at the scene. The other 2 were taken to the hospital. Newberry Mayor Jordan Marlowe confirms the 2 who were taken to the hospital have since died. Of the 4 teens in the car, 2 had on an ankle monitor, 3 had active warrants.
So it lets me know that there's a track record to a point. These motherfuckers have kind of just been throwing their life away at different points, and they've just been waiting for the opportunity to just say fuck it. And unfortunately, the fuck it moment cost them their lives. You can talk about, oh my God, the police should have done 15,000 different things. The one thing they tried to do, which I would argue, if I were to go into the employee handbook of a cop, is what they're supposed to do. The people that were supposed to comply didn't. So as much as people might want to try to make cops the boogeyman in this situation, I struggle to understand how you get to that point, because, you know, if I'm speeding and the lights flash, I'm not thinking, all right, let me fuck with him just a little bit. Let me pull over to the side, you know what I'm saying? And as soon as the cop kind of opens that door just a little bit, I veer off, because it makes no sense to do something like that. It fucks me over more if I do something like that. All I gotta do in a certain scenario, if the cop isn't power hungry, because let's be honest, every cop is not a good cop. I get into this situation, I pay the ticket at a later date, and I just go on my merry way. Unless I got 1,000 different tickets on my case, then I'm probably losing my license. I'm probably going to jail, depending on the circumstances and the state. So fuck. All I'm thinking in this scenario is, why would you motherfuckers veer off? Maybe it's because of the ankle monitors. Maybe because you on like a 3-strike system and this one was gonna put you in juvie. Who the fuck knows? I'm talking this out. I'm rationalizing all of this in my mind, and I'm sitting here thinking I shouldn't feel bad, but I still do, because it's teenagers. You know what? I don't feel bad, because hearing myself say all this, it makes me realize, wow, these motherfuckers were smart enough to carjack somebody, but weren't smart enough to just pull over and face the basic consequences of somebody who's a repeat offender to the point where they got an ankle monitor on their fucking legs. So I tend to choose to not feel bad in this scenario, at least for them. I feel bad knowing that family members will now grieve the fact that their family members are no longer on this earth. But in terms of them, and in terms of the weirdo, for the individuals that see something like this, only pay attention to it half-assed and start chanting about how Kumbaya is coming to get revenge on these white cops, because obviously they might be. Fuck if I know if they are. But, you know, that's how I feel about it. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Do you feel bad? Do you not care? Does this not satisfy you enough? Are you hard? Are you soft? What does it matter if you are or if you are not? Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Subscribe to the channel. The fastest growing chef on YouTube shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.